Hello and welcome to Winchester News Online. I'm Sinead Cochran. Coming up, Winchester girl takes on the slopes of her bobsleigh. Archaeology students are given the chance to dig even deeper. And could a vegan diet be just what our four-legged friends need? If you're an archaeology student in Winchester, then you're in luck. The department will be given exclusive access to the ancient ruin near Romsey. Harry Jewell got his hands dirty to send us this report.
It's what every archaeologist dreams of, to gain exclusive access to an ancient ruin. But for students at the University of Winchester, that dream has become a reality. Archaeology students have been granted exclusive access to Murden Castle by Historic England. The site near Romsey, which is not accessible to the public, contains the ruins of a Norman castle that was likely built during the Bronze Age.
Historic England has approached us, the University of Winchester, to see if we would be interested in a long-term collaboration. So we're using the castle as a teaching resource for our students to train in real-life projects, ongoing research, and at the same time we're finding out about the castle, its history, and also its older history. But because before there was a castle, there was already a Iron Age hill fort, or potentially even a Bronze Age hill fort, and that bit of history also needs to be kind of looked at.
The university archaeology team will investigate the ground around the ruin with geophysical equipment, which will enable them to closely analyse the ruin without the risk of causing damage. Following this, the foundations can be looked at to see what kind of people once lived in Murden Castle, all without having to dig anything up. The collaboration between the University of Winchester and Historic England is unlike anything that two institutions have seen before. It's large scale and is intended to go on for many years to come, including the Murden Castle project and beyond. This collaboration has also gained national interest, so the potential is very much there for future projects. Harry Jewell, Winchester News Online.
Down in the city centre, there's work taking place on the historic North Walls landmark, and it is expected to cause some disruption. Morgan Mitchener-Banks is there to tell us more.
Thanks, Sinead. Well, the work here on the North Wall started yesterday after being postponed in August, but today there doesn't seem to be anyone on site at the moment. The reconstruction itself is being done after there were safety concerns over the stability of the wall, and are expected to last for the next 5 months. There will be temporary lane and pavement closures throughout the process, but currently the only closure is on the pavement on the side of the North Wall. But it won't be long until there is major traffic disruption in the city centre.
Thank you, Morgan. Have you ever thought about the environmental effects of what your dog is eating? A recent study by a Winchester professor aims to find out if a vegan diet for dogs could help climate change. Amelia Hopkinson has more.
When it comes to furry friends, it's important to know what you're feeding them. Things like what's in it, how much they need, or how much it is. But have you ever stopped to think about the environmental impact your dog's food has? With climate change becoming a greater concern each year, Andrew Knight has been looking at the impact dog food is having on the problem. In 2018, nearly 7 billion animals were used within the diets of dogs and cats, and his research has found that vegan diets for dogs would reduce more greenhouse gases than those produced by the whole of the UK. And if implemented amongst dogs globally, it would free up land larger than Mexico.
When the animals would be transitioned onto nutritionally sound vegan diets, then the proportion of the dietary energy that's currently being provided by meat and animal produce would instead be supplied by plants. And it takes an awful lot less land to produce all of those plants than it does to produce the meat and animal sourced ingredients.
In a study conducted by the University of Guelph, it was found that 75% of pet owners who had a vegan or vegetarian lifestyle were interested in the same diet for their pets. But when asked the same question to the general pet owning population, only 35% were interested in adopting a vegan diet for their pets. But how safe actually is a vegan diet for dogs?
In terms of specific benefits from a vegan diet, I can't really say. I think it's too early. These diets haven't been around that long. And my other point would simply be, if you've got an animal that has got a serious health concern, I'm not sure a vegan diet would be something new. I think in that instance, a vet may suggest don't put on a vegan diet because you're already making it a lot harder. So
So one bowl here with some vegan dog food in it and another bowl with some normal dog food in it. We're going to test it out on Pickles and see which one she prefers. Ready? Here you go. So as you can see, Pickles didn't really have a preference, but it's important to remember that all dogs are different. Some dogs have intolerances and allergies which have to be considered when planning their meals.
I think that we live in a world currently where, as humans, we're quite sort of aware of what it is that we're eating. So I do understand that it's something that clients potentially may be interested in. However, it can be difficult to get right, particularly sort of homemade diets. So I would always recommend speaking to a veterinary professional or a registered nutritionist in order to get sort of as much information as you possibly can before transitioning onto that diet.
Amelia Hopkinson, Winchester News Online.
If you'd like any more information on this topic, follow the link in our description or on our website. Fancy a trip to Greece? Well, on Sunday, ITV will be whisking us away to the beautiful islands of Greece for its hunt to find the next Sky and Sophie for the West End musical Mamma Mia.
You're going to be singing and dancing all over the island.
Mamma Mia, I Have a Dream will follow 14 hopefuls as they prove they have what it takes to lead a West End show. The musical has been seen by 65 million people across 50 productions in 16 languages. Darcy James from Hampshire is hoping that the judges will take a chance on him. Darcy graduated from music college in 2021 and has since been auditioning non-stop, alongside working events and in a gym. There's a possibility you might have seen a young Darcy on your local stage, as he used to be part of a theatre group and in pantomimes across Hampshire. Along with the 13 other contestants, Darcy will be performing in front of the star judges, but will Darcy be the winner that takes it all? You decide at the final live show. Google Street View is something we are all familiar with, whether it's scouting out locations, exploring other cities, or looking at your own house. But what if Street View was a multiplayer competitive game? Confused? Alfred Morris explains more.
The dirt is a little bit more red, which happens farther north in Uruguay as you get closer to Brazil.
My God, I think Fungus has got it!
These geography wizards are playing a game called GeoGuessr. And at the weekend, the world's first official GeoGuessr World Cup was hosted in Stockholm to a packed stadium, and over 70,000 people tuned in online. Players competed in the two-day tournament over a prize pool of $50,000, with competitors from all over the world.
So what on earth are they actually doing? Let me explain.
Players are shown a location on Google Street View, and they have to guess where it is. They're scored out of 5,000. And in a versus match, the player who is furthest away gets points deducted from their score until somebody gets knocked out. Anyone can play, both on your phone and a web browser, making the bar for entry to get into playing incredibly low. But the near endless information professional players can recall and recognise at a moment's notice makes the skill ceiling nearly endless.
PZ5K. Anything is possible. Never stop believing.
Anything.
Folks.
Never back down. Never what?
Yeah.
Never give up.
Never give up.
Round 5.
The tournament this weekend featured a knockout bracket, with the victor being crowned after an intense final showdown.
Blakey's also going fit. Blakey's going Phil in this roll. Is it come down this?
It's locked in.
Consus! Is he the winner?
Did he get
Peter Noordijk, known as Consus, represented the Netherlands and took home the first place prize.
Consus! Did you ever dream of anything like this?
Not at all. Like when I started, this game was so small, and I was just like enjoying playing with a few other guys on Twitch, and that was it. And now we're standing here, World Cup, and I'm even winning. It is crazy.
So with the success of this year's event, fans are looking forward to a repeat next year. But as of right now, nothing is yet confirmed. Alfred Morris, Winchester News Online.
Now it's time to see what's happening in the world of sport. Over to you, Reese.
Thank you, Sinead, and welcome to this week's WINOL Sport Roundup. Winchester took on Hungerford in a critical match following their FA Cup exit. Jacob Rayner reports.
Winchester City vs Hungerford was a match where the action never stopped, starting with a goal apiece inside 20 minutes. In the 33rd minute, Hungerford's number 17 had a nasty clash, which left him with a head injury. His time on the pitch had reached a sudden end, as the medical team feared concussion. He left on a stretcher, then in an ambulance for a precautionary checkup at Hampshire County Hospital. "5 minutes was all it took after the break for Hungerford to retake the lead. But after a dubious penalty decision, Winchester equalised once more. Following a clear foul, Hungerford's number 10 brought his tally for the day to 2 with a calmly taken penalty. Winchester's poor form at the back continued as Hungerford's right winger hit a thunderbolt from 30 yards and seemed to put the match to bed. But another quick reply from Winchester meant there was still life in the game yet. Hungerford's 5th goal put the icing on the cake. It also meant that Winchester had conceded 9 goals in the last 4 games, a record that will leave Hanwell Town feeling optimistic about the chances versus Winchester next weekend. Hard-fought match today. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's a funny game. I think it flatters them to win 5-3. It sort of went in different spells. We were well on, they were on top at the start. We were well on top, end of the first half. Then we were on top. Then they scored, getting to run a play. It's sort of ebbed and flowed, but disappointing to lose.
On Saturday afternoon, a number of our local sides were involved in the 4th qualifying round of the FA Cup, as Elliot McVie reports.
Now, National League Eastleigh secured their place in the next round, coming away with a narrow 1-0 victory against Dover Athletic. Meanwhile, the league rivals Aldershot cruised to a 4-1 win over lower league side Lewis. AFC Totton of the Southern League were beaten 1-0 at home by Ramsgate, whilst Woking were held to a goalless draw at Hemel Hempstead. The draw for the first round proper took place on Sunday. Eastleigh will host Boreham Wood at the Silver Lake Stadium, while Aldershot will have the chance to pull off a big upset at League 2 Swindon Town. And should Woking win tonight's replay, they'll be the second of our local sides to face Ramsgate, now one of the lowest ranked sides left in the Cup. League 1 sides Portsmouth and Reading enter the competition at this stage. Pompey will head up to Derbyshire to face Chesterfield, and the Royals will host MK Dons. The ties will be played over the weekend of the 4th and 5th of November. Back to you.
Now we have a story all about bobsleighing. Winchester may not be the typical location for a bobslayer, but this city is full of surprises, as Lily Gage reports.
Bobsleigh might be an odd choice of sport for a girl from Winchester. However, Charlotte hopes to make hurtling through ice tunnels her full-time profession. I caught up with her to hear more about her career so far.
So when I was younger, I did a lot of athletics and swimming, and then I started doing heptathlon for Bath Athletics Club. I was at, I think it was a nationals one year, doing heptathlon, and I just got scouted by some people and asked to do the trials for the team.
Flying down ice tunnels is easy for Charlotte, however accessing the funds to do so is proving to be a lot harder.
Well, obviously the lack of ice is quite a big issue because, say with athletics it's so easy, you can just pick up your spikes and head down to the track pretty much wherever you are. So the inaccessibility of it is quite a big issue as you have to travel for it. However, I would say the funding is the biggest issue. And I do think it's something that can be overcome with more media, more press, more sort of like involvement in the sport through other people, which is something that all of us as athletes are trying to change.
Charlotte has set up a GoFundMe page to help cover the costs of her upcoming competitions. We wish her the best of luck.
That's it for the sport this week. Back to you, Sinead.
Thank you, Reese. That is all the news we've got time for this week. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.